Hey,
You can speak for him.
Hey, he's
where have you
here. All
guys been?
right. Hey, good.
Oh, here and there, Bobby. Here and there.
Oh,
But I think it's significant that we found our way back today.
I did. I
Good.
can
Super.
sit. I think I can sit for the whole hour without screaming in pain. So
That's
Ah,
good. I hate the screaming in pain, especially if it's mine. But
yeah.
even yours, I would be a little queasy about. So anyway,
Yeah.
good to see you, brother.
Well, it's good to be here.
So you have lots of new poems for us?
Oh, well, I have a couple that I brought with me for today that
Yeah.
are new, and I think I have some more back there that I haven't shared.
Good, good.
Well, there you go.
I've been writing poems, even though I have been suffering a little in the last few weeks.
So this is a back pain thing?
Yeah, it's my back.
Ah,
It's my back that's all squished up. No more disc.
yeah.
No more
That's
what?
very, very common. Yeah.
My disc are either
Oh,
bulging or herniated between L5 and S1. So it's bad, but the orthopedic guy wants to operate, but my doctor won't let him, and because I'm still on blood thinners and she won't let me off.
I've been through that. Yeah.
So my pain doctor is taking care of me
Well,
the best he can.
Yeah.
well, you look good, Bobby. I mean,
Oh, wow. Well, thank you, Gary.
I don't know if I meant it like that or not.
Well, I'm
It's good to see both of
feeling
you.
good too most of the time.
Yeah. So it feels, I guess it's just because, Bobby, you haven't been here, but it feels like we haven't been together for a long time. I know Dale and I did it 2 weeks ago, but
Yeah.
we're here.
Well,
So I
I'm
guess,
here.
oh,
We
and
are back.
I think we need to set up some duties here. So I think that for next week, we have to preordain who introduces the show. Welcome to New Poets. Well, it's not New Poets Wednesday, so you can't let me do it because I'll screw it up.
Yeah.
As Bobby and anybody who's ever been on stage with me will tell you, it's fairly common. Anyway, what I was, yeah. So celebrating new poets. Okay, just to correct myself here. I think we should change up, and a person should say, "Welcome to," because it struck me that we never welcome anybody to these podcasts, and
Yeah.
we should. We should.
Should.
Okay.
Who knows who could be out there?
Yeah. I've seen a few of them now.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see a bit more, but it's a process. It's a process. So anyway, so I guess since I said all that, I have to say, but I'm not saying it next week. Now, next week, one of you all have to say welcome to. Okay. And
To
then
celebrating new poets.
yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna prompt you. I'm just gonna say that.
Okay.
So Bobby and I are going to arm wrestle for who does that, right?
Who does that? Well, somebody's gonna close the show too. See, I mean, I think it all should rotate. Especially
Oh,
if
okay.
you only got three people, how hard can it be?
That's right. How hard can it be?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll tell you what, Dale, you open it.
Okay.
And
Well, welcome to Celebrating New Poets. Is that going to work?
Speaking for myself, I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And I don't have anything new. I have not written a new thing part of it is because I am writing a book, but the book is full of old things that I've already written for the most part. So,
Well,
and the other thing is that I'm really, what do I want to say? Well, I'm very keen. Excuse me. I've been eating some new nuts, and they're like finding their way down in a most unpleasant way. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I'm putting probably most of my creative energies into writing lyrics, and I'm in the process of collecting people who will send me music that they feel like could use some lyrics, and and I've got a couple of people who are interested, and that's mainly what I'm doing. So I don't really call that writing new stuff, but although when I get around to writing it, it will be new, and I'll tell you about it. But other than that, nothing new. But I like the old ones, and I have a theme. This I love themes. I'm a theme guy, and I love themes. So I have a theme, and every poem that I read today has a couple of lines in it that I just love. I don't necessarily love the poem as much as I love the line.
mm,
I fall in love with my lines every once in a while. It's a bad habit for a poet, but I do. So anyway, there's not going to be a quiz. We're not going to say, "Oh, did you catch the lines that I really love?" You know, and of course, I might stop and say, "Okay, here they come." But other than that, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I'm also not going to go first. So just in case you were wondering.
oh, I thought you were leading up to a big kickoff.
Yes, that was
Okay,
quite
all
an
right,
intro.
I'll do it.
That didn't take much, did it?
It never does.
I
It
think he
never
was
does.
leading up to that all along.
It never does. And what I like about it is that I'm going to start at the very, very beginning. And theoretically, I am, what do you call it? I'm paper clipped for success. Just boom, click, boom, boom. So here goes the first boom.
Okay.
If you haven't heard it, here it comes. Love in the bud. Let us promise not, when love is in the bud, that there can be a conjuring with the incantations of the seasons and their death-defying undulations, such that the raging beauty of our rose can unleash its atom-smashing essence. But let us simply say we love today, and we might behold a new reality, a new and natural knowing, serene in its sensitivity, facile as our fleeting moments, accepting of each other's truth as patient soil accepts the rain. That's
Well, the line that jumped out to me was the raging beauty of our loves.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Did I get it?
No.
If you like it, you got it.
All right.
I don't even care if you steal it. I steal all of it. You're lucky that you haven't shown up in some of my poems already. Like,
well, you said you fell in love with some of the lines, and that one was just the one that.
You know what? I like it too, but I was kind of like,
yeah,
it's kind of tongue in cheek a little bit. I was trying to be sort of flowery as a build up, so that I could get down to the really essence of my feeling for this individual.
Okay, now for me, I think it's the last line. The soil accepting the rain.
Oh, you go to the head of the class.
Yeah,
Bobby, you're a star too. And
she wins.
But okay.
No, I bow down to Dale. She got it. That is a beautiful line. She's right.
Well, you're both right. And I say that because you said nice things about my poem. So it's is there any
So
other reason?
for you, it was every line in there was the best.
Well, yeah, okay, you got me there. However, that's I got one down, and it's now somebody else's turn.
Well,
Ah,
well, speaking of lines, this first poem that I want to share, you know, I've told you before that a lot of my poems are born out of graphics or pictures that I see that my friends post, and that I just love the picture, and so I write a poem for it. But this poem came from a different source. There was no graphic. I found one this morning, but I have about 4 poets that I follow on TikTok that write the most beautiful poems, and they're all, ironically, women that are probably 20 years old, that I they they are so shallow in life, but they're so deep in their soul. I just don't even know where some of these words come from sometimes, and
That's quite a
put
line
them,
by itself.
they put themselves on
Excuse me, I'm going to make
beaches.
a note here, Bobby.
They
Okay,
put
I got it.
themselves, they film themselves on beaches with the wind blowing in their hair while they read these poems, and they're just gorgeous. One of my favorite, I'll read a couple of the lines
That's
and then
fine.
I'll share my poem. But one of my favorites is a young Hispanic girl, Latin lady named Celia. And Carol and I were sitting there listening to her poems on TikTok the other day and just engrossed by them. So one of the lines that I loved in one of her poems was, I want you in the same way I want a full night of sleep, like how I want to be taken seriously when my emotions run deep, like how I want to be protected and seen, for someone to love the worst parts of me until my slate can be wiped clean. And she just, it just flows. And sometimes
It
right in the
does.
middle of her poems, she breaks into Spanish,
uh-huh.
and I just think that's a beautiful language. And so that she's one of them. Another one is a young lady by the name of Ellen Everett. Both of them have books of poetry published, and I don't think they can be more than late 20s. But anyway, Ellen is always writing about love, and I don't even know how she understands love. She's too young to understand everything about love. But here's one of her lines. If you're looking for forever, I'll take the batteries out of my clock so that we'll be stuck inside of this moment as if time had really stopped. I would tell you that I love you every second of the day, except here seconds don't exist. So I'll just say I love you with each breath, with each smile, and with each kiss. So and she's doing this poem on a beach with the wind blowing in her hair. They're just so beautiful. So I thought one day, I just thought, damn it, I'm going to write one of those poems and post it on TikTok. This beautiful poem. I turned the fan on, blowing in my hair.
You got me going. I'm all for it. Shoot.
Yeah, I'm
And
waiting. I'm
so
waiting.
here's the
I think
poem.
we should all do it. You know.
I just don't. I you know, they're so young but so deep, and I'm so old and I'm so shallow compared to them. And you'll see why when I read my poem. So here's the poem I wrote, and I put it to a graphic, and I'll tell you what the graphic is after I'm done. But I'm a romantic. I believe the one will appear like an angel in the sky, and all my dreams will come true. My one and only, for whom I would gladly die. And it came to pass, just as I visualized. I see her, my heart feels her. But as I reach out to touch her and pull her close, I realize she's just a ghost, stardust, a mirage, a figment of my romanticized eye. This one, not that one. Bye bye, my sweet fantasy. Bye bye. And so the graphic I found to put with that poem today was a picture of Selma Hayek. So,
Oh yeah, well, you can't go wrong with Selma, you know.
but anyway, that was, I tried my best to go deep like Celia and Ellen do, but that's the best I could do. And it, you know, they get thousands of views on theirs, and I only got like 400 or 500 on mine. So,
Well,
but
400 or
I
500
posted
is
it.
not bad.
I was
I
gonna say I'd
posted
take
it
400 or
with the
500.
fan blowing in my face.
Oh, goodness.
So that's my first one.
Wow. Wow. Well,
Any
how am I?
lines? Any lines stood out to you there, Gary, that you really liked?
You'd almost have to read it again. And, you know, what I like is the flow of your, just the flow of your thought pattern. I don't know how else to say it. It's just like you get me early, and I'm just yeah, he's coming, yeah, you know. And so it's like sometimes I remember lines because of that. Sometimes I don't. It doesn't mean I wasn't involved with the poem.
Yeah.
But
Well, my favorite in that one was, but I reach out to pull her in close, and I realize she is just a ghost.
Yeah, but that's where
that's where that kind of sense of humor, though. I think.
Yeah. That's where the whole meaning of the poem takes a left turn.
Yeah, yeah. Ellen and Celia find their love.
Yeah.
Ellen and Celia find their love, and mine is running away on the beach, going, "Leave me alone, leave me alone."
Well, I think it's interesting that people that write in other languages, in fact, I speak Spanish, and I got to tell you, just reading anything in Spanish is beautiful, and the great poets. And I think, like in different languages, it's more picturesque the way they even describe things. So it might be easier for people in Spanish to write poetry because their word structure is already set up with more pictures in it.
Yeah,
it's a very poetic language.
Yeah, they say language is very different, and some of it just is more poetic. I had a well, he was our choir director. He said, I don't care, anything in Italian is going to be better than just about anything else because it's a better language for poetry, you know, and for song.
Yeah.
Now he might have been stretching. I mean, he was, you know, why do you think we keep sticking our lines of their, you know, their language into our stuff? Is because we like it, you know, because it's in our natural speech. But I ain't learning no new languages though. I might steal a phrase because I like the sound. Somebody might tell me what it means, you know, but I got a whole thing about language. We don't even want to go there. Dale, it must be your turn.
Yeah, well, it is. And boy, the two poems I brought, this is going to be a hard act to follow here with my two little poems. But anyway, okay, I'm going to start with the one that this is a new poem. These are both really new. So you need to tell me if you can really follow even what I'm talking about. It's one of those poems. This is called The Game of Life.
Oh.
Okay.
Is my life a virtual game, a journey chosen to entertain? The doors I have opened, the ones I ran by, was I meant to worry? Was I meant to cry? Seeking puzzled treasure as pleasure, is another soul somewhere laughing, enjoying my strife, applauding my gains, cursing my mistries, hoping to tally some score? worth nothing but a blistered finger on a cosmic hand, tapping a screen, pushing a button, passing time in the universe.
Love the ending. You could read that last couple of lines again if you like.
Worth nothing but a blistered finger on a cosmic hand, tapping a screen, pushing a button, passing time in the universe.
I like that it's the small to the large that I like. Little thing, little thing, little thing, big thing, you know. That's always attractive to me.
Yeah, it was a great poem.
So do you understand anything of what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, go ahead, Bobby.
oh, I just, the name of it was The Game of Life, and so I don't know if I got it right, but it's just passing time. It's just we do the same things over and over again, whether pressing buttons or whatever. We're passing time and walking through it.
Okay.
But isn't the use of detail? I mean, especially in the last part of it, it seemed to me that was kind of the game. Is just to kind of fill the time with small things and incremental things, you know, little things that you do as a regular, just in the course of a day in a life. But your use of, I would call it your use of detail. I don't know any better for it, but you're very good and very detailed in your detail. You know, it's you know, I can follow it that way, but no, but it's not just a series of little things that I'm saying. They all interconnect and it flows. So it's a poem. It works. You know, as a critique or as a person. I don't know, offering a critique. You know, it's I'm sure I leave a lot to be desired, but
well,
okay.
Well, but the main question is what did you think it was about? And what I put into it is not what either one of you talked about. So
well, I was going to ask what you wanted to communicate.
Right, yeah. So that's what I was visualizing is the concept that we're taking life too seriously, and that out there in the cosmic, maybe in another galaxy far, far away, somebody is playing a computer game, and we are that game. And so that's where the cosmic finger comes in, that is pushing the button and just doing this for what, you know, to rack up some imaginary score while we're flubbering around here making a big deal out of everything.
Yeah.
So
well, now
I see I have more to work. I have more to work on.
well, now I get it. And I think it would, you know, if there was some way that I could, that, you know, while you're reading it, I could have the words in front of me following you. I think it would be easier for me to grab hold of some of that.
Yeah, I'm always like that. I mean, I can see things much better than just hearing them. Yeah. Okay, good. Well, and I suppose if I was going to use your technique and have something in the background, I would have a computer game in the background.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Well, that's an interesting thought. If somebody's moving our lives around, controlling us.
Okay, if I were to say, okay, where is the point at which, in your mind, you started to make that become more clear, what you were doing. Obviously,
I don't know.
I didn't see it the way you saw it, but it didn't mean that I didn't get the picture that you were painting. You know, it's like obviously
Well,
process. You're talking about a process, right?
yeah, I'm talking about making the written word, the magic about taking what you're thinking and putting it in words and having somebody else pick it up and see the same things that you put down. Yeah. So, but I will work on it and bring it back at another time.
I think that'd be a good idea. I mean, I obviously, I didn't get exactly where you were going, but it doesn't really, it's like it doesn't make it. A, that doesn't make it a bad poem, and B, I think I really want to. Now that we've talked about it, I really can't wait to hear what you do.
Yeah.
Seriously. So it's like, you don't even have to get a new one; just get the old one.
I'll just read this again in a few weeks, and you wouldn't know any different.
Okay, now that's not fair. That's not.
No, I'm laughing
because
that's the way I would be, if somebody said, well, okay, and if I listened to it again a couple of weeks, I mean, it would be brand new to me in a lot of ways. So
yeah. I got that. I'm good.
And it's your turn
Well,
again.
I will say that when you said the line about the cosmic finger, that was it, cosmic finger?
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I thought, oh, that's different than what you. I mean, I was wondering how that fit in, and now that you're explaining it like it's somebody coming in and that cosmic finger is pushing the buttons, and that makes it completely different. I don't know if I would have caught that even if I had the written word right in front of me. I don't know, but I did notice that line about the cosmic finger.
That one threw me off, and I got to say, for a very personal reason, I used a lot. In talk, I wrote this dumb poem about diet, and I called something a cosmic waste, talking about food that people eat. And as soon as you said cosmic, I went into my cosmic waste, and then I had to come back to your poem, and so it's like. I might not have been all over there for that whole poem. I just kind of messed up. I'm going to read one that I'm trying to get somebody to make a song out of it. It's called "You Could If You Would." You could miss the water before the well runs dry. You could taste the tears before you feel the cry. You could put the cart before the horse, and you could eat dessert before the main course. You could put the genie back in the bottle, and you could make yourself fall back in love with me. You could correct the lean of the Tower of Pizza. You could put a frown on the Mona Lisa. You could start a fire with a dying ember, and you could forget before you remember. You could put the genie back in the bottle, and you could make yourself fall back in love with me. Make yourself fall, make yourself fall, make yourself fall back in love with me.
Yeah, those are good song lyrics.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that though. I like the way you use the words to. Yeah, I love that.
I thought, well, it's got rhythm, and that's half the battle. And it's I like it too, so that's why I read it. But I'm glad that you see some musicality to it, because sooner or later somebody's going to actually. I've got somebody in mind. He doesn't know it yet, but he's he's taken some of my poems. I made this demo with I don't know. Did you know Joe Broussard, Bobby?
I know who, I've heard that
You know
name.
of
I
him?
don't know him.
Yeah, okay. He was for a while my music teacher. I mean, I called him that. But then we sort of became like more like partners. He's put several of my poems to music, and
Oh, okay.
the first time he did it, I cried. It was like I didn't think I'd ever live to see anything as cool as that. It's like I never
Just hearing your words to
hearing
music.
your own. Yes, you got it. You got it. It's just
Yeah.
I'm hooked. If I
Yeah.
write another book of poetry, I'm gonna stay after this one. So
Well, one of the thing in theater, I've had some great successes and some real exhilarating times on stage in different characters, but the biggest thrill I ever got was when I was asked to take a 10-year-old kid's idea for a script and turn it into a script. It was about a 15-minute script that 8 to 11-year-olds performed. And when I was sitting there watching them perform, and it was my words coming out of their mouth that they had memorized, that was one of the biggest thrills of my life. So
yeah, I can see why. Yeah.
And I was sitting right in the audience watching their parents, and they were smiling and they were so proud of their kids. And
it didn't get any better than that, really.
No. Well, my next poem was inspired by a picture I saw. And I turned on my phone, and right up, when you turn on your phone, if you have an iPhone, right up in the top right-hand corner, there's this different pictures that the phone chooses every day. And this particular morning, it was a picture of me with a big smile on my face. It's a picture of me that I think looks the most like my father. And so I did a screenshot of that and then blacked out all of the icons that were on it. So it was just me in this black. And I was trying to think of a poem for that. And so there's some funny comical, I guess that's how I think and write. There's comedy in here, and I don't know that anybody else would ever pick it up, but there's a lot of deep thoughts about my life in here too. So this is the poem I came up for that particular picture. I was wondering just yesterday, was my name given me on purpose, or was it just for play? Let's see. Bobby means bright fame. Wow, I'll take it. What a handsome and charming name. But wait, was it I who was to plan out a life that's full of fame? Or is it just bestowed on me, because I was purposefully given that name? I think I'll take the latter, that it was fate that made me great. Because if it were left up to me, my fate would be late, my reputation not so great, and bright fame far from my plate. Bobby, bright fame. Wow, what a handsome and charming name.
That's precious.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, that's what I say. It will come across as cute, but there's some things in there that I've thought a lot about my life and my whole life and the whole life that I've lived and what I've done and what I've accomplished and what I'm proud of. And so there's some things in there too that I think about when I read that poem that make me feel good. So
Well, is your name officially Robert?
yeah, Robert, if you look up Robert or Bobby, it will say the meaning is bright fame.
Ah, okay. So it does give you the
That's
same
pretty
meaning.
cool.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Gary doesn't have anything going for him. Yeah.
Oh, you'd
Well,
be
you
surprised.
never know. You better look it up.
No, you know what? I know exactly where Gary comes from. It comes from my mother's generation, and it was all about Gary Cooper, the actor.
Oh, yeah.
All the boys got named. They got named Gary. I suppose we were supposed to grow up and be movie stars. I sort of tried a little bit, you know, like
You did.
it's,
I just watched you in a show. I watched you.
yeah. Well, that's probably as much as we need to say about that. But yeah. Anyhow,
Well, I was named after my grandfather, so what can I say?
that's right. Dale could go
Yeah.
either way.
Well, Dale Evans, Queen of the West. I mean,
Oh
what
my
an
gosh!
option.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
you know, I mean, Gary Cooper's one thing, but I mean, what if my name was Roy?
Actually, way back when I was part of Dale and Roy. Yeah,
Ah,
we were quite a hot romance at one time.
oh,
And another time in a galaxy far, far away.
yeah. It's starting to come out now. The personal stuff, you know, the good stuff is starting to come out.
Yeah, well.
How long we been doing this? You know.
Okay, are you ready for my second poem?
We certainly are.
Okay, this is a poem that I rediscovered when I came back here because it's one that I started writing when I was here in the spring, and I wasn't happy with it, so I didn't share it with you at that time. But I worked on it a little bit in the last couple of days, so it's a little better now. So anyway, this is called Quail Chicks.
Quail chicks?
Quail
Yeah.
chicks. Let me get that in my
Well, you know, the little quails that run around. Yeah, anyway, okay.
Quail chicks. I got you.
Yes. They started with nearly a dozen, those pear-shaped parents on tiny feet, grazing with rabbits at dusk on my lawn. Running in rows, they scatter, unable to fight, awkward in flight, escaping coyotes, hawks, and cats. Each night their numbers dwindle. Tonight down to 10. Tomorrow maybe 6 chicks. Soon only 2. Each spring the same story. Quail parents parade fluff balls in a line. Proud, vigilant, undaunted, unchanged, always the same. No matter how many or how few chicks remain.
Mm-hmm.
That's another story of life, see?
Yeah.
I get it.
used to watch the quail chicks disappear as
Yeah.
I think the coyotes had them for hors d'oeuvres before they ate the bunnies.
Yeah.
At one house I lived at.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm on the edge of a golf course, so there's rabbits and quail. Yeah. They're all over.
That was when, in my experience, was when I lived in my aunt's house, which was right on the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of that, and I would watch the litter of quail chicks dwindle down to nothing.
Right.
Then there's the coyotes that you know, that come down from wherever they come down from, because it's dry up there and wet down here, and they're not shy about coming on the golf course at night, you know.
Yeah.
No.
Even during the day.
Or even during the day, cats and small animals, it's no big deal to lose one, you know. I mean, it's a big deal, but I mean, it's no surprise. Which is another reason I don't have pets, but that's probably for another day. Is it my turn again, or somebody's turn?
It's your turn, yeah.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I've read this one before. Well, I know I have, but I think I've read it here. But again, it's and it used to have a different name. Now I call it me, we, but I think I called it um, oh, the original title was Benjamin Button's Got Nothing on Me.
Yeah.
That was the original title.
Mhm.
But this is kind of a theme of mine, and I'm starting to like pretend that I'm trying to live up to it, which is really absurd. Which because it kind of like, well, you'll see how absurd it is. Anyway, when it comes to living life backwards, I've dreamed of being me since I was 3. And like the great poet Muhammad Ali, me, we. But I almost didn't recognize myself because I forgot you can dream backwards as well as you can forwards. Just like I forgot how blessings come to me before I remember to ask for them. Or like following through on a pitch that's already left your hand. So life is just a backstory for the role I was born to play. And all I have to do now is pretend I don't remember the ending.
Yeah, I love that last line. Yeah,
I thought you'd heard it before.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
going to do it anyway.
Yeah, that has a good line. Yeah, yeah. That's like the concept about the goldfish. The goldfish, it forgets everything, right away. So
Right.
yeah, we should all be like goldfish.
Well, I can be a little bit less like goldfish, but it can be rather inconvenient at times.
Yeah.
But there's a theme there.
Yeah.
Well, since we have time and we're reading a third one, I do have a third one that was inspired by a photo of my grandson hanging on to my great granddaughter's hand, and it's his niece. And I had been thinking a lot about, because of various reasons, I'd been thinking a lot about how disgusted I was at the men who have used their strength and their power to take advantage and to abuse innocent lives, people who were weaker than them. And so I was thinking about that when I saw this picture. It inspired this poem because it's my great granddaughter holding on to my grandson's hand. My grandson is 21. She's about 6 years old. And he's someone who can be trusted. So he's not the man that I was disgusted by. I just was thinking about that when I saw this picture. So the poem is called I Pray. And the poem reads like this: holding someone's hand is a statement, a resounding way to say that the person I'm with can be trusted to protect me in my innocent ways. I feel safe, I'm secure, I'm trusting. He'd never lead me astray. He's my uncle, my brother, my father, the men God has entrusted to keep me out of harm's way. I pray.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
heaviness about that, but it's also beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that one doesn't have any humor in it at all, and I've heard stories, as a pastor, I've heard stories, lots of stories, as just a person who lives in this world, even inside of my own family, stories have surfaced, and I'm just disgusted.
Mhm.
by men who have taken advantage of someone that was weaker than them in order to satisfy their own selfish needs. And it just, I really am disgusted. And so that when
Yeah.
I saw that picture, and I knew that she was holding on to his hand, and he was someone that could be trusted and would protect her and watch over her and not hurt her in any way. That's where the words of that poem came from. So, but I love the way that it ends. This is the men that God has entrusted to keep me out of harm's way. I pray.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's, yeah. In fact, I'd like to have a copy of that poem. I retired from social services, and you know, I for years I read case studies of adults that had mental illness, and you know, like 95% of them go back to child abuse, and horrendous child abuse. It's like stuff you can't even imagine grown people would do to another human being, let alone a child. So
yeah. Well, I did. It was bothering me so much a few months ago that I was curious, because, and what I learned is that people who do abuse, 80 or over 80%, over 85% of them, I think, if I remember right, had been abused themselves, which made me think, well, that's horrible, because if you've been abused, then there's no hope for you. But the next line said that, but of those who have been abused, very few, a small percentage of them ever abuse again. So it's the ones that do abuse, 85+% have been abused, but those who have been abused, very few of them ever abuse anybody else. So
right, yeah, they have such bad self-images. They don't, you know, a lot of suicides, a lot of drug abuse, a lot of alcohol abuse. They usually die young. Yeah.
And I went to that we had an incident in our church years ago where I was the associate pastor, where one of the young men was abusing teenage girls, and then we found out it was more than that, and that he was abusing all kinds of women in the church. And I went to a counseling center there in town to try and learn what I could do, how I could support. And the counseling center told me, the best you can hope for is that person will let themselves be held accountable, because there's no cure for it's. They told me it's like a dog that's tasted blood. They'll keep going back to it unless they allow themselves to be held accountable. So anyway, it's been a lifelong thing that has disgusted me. And when I saw that picture, I just thought of my great granddaughter, who is safe in my grandson's hands, but a lot of little girls aren't. So
yeah, or little boys either,
or little boys. Yes,
and
absolutely.
seriously, I'd like to have that poem, because I've written quite a bit. I've written some short stories that were published on that topic, and I'd like to add that to my collection.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks. Okay. Oh, I have to come up with another one now, right?
Well, Gary and I have done 3, so I don't know,
okay.
This wouldn't be fair if you got away with 2.
I don't know. I can read an old one. In fact, I may have read this before, but it was probably such a long.
We have 10 minutes still, so.
Oh, okay.
There are no rules here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, how about I'll do Goodbye Girlfriend. And this goes back to a friendship that sometimes we don't pick our friends. We think we do, but they don't. And I had a friend way back in Portland that kind of picked me, and I spent a lot of time with her. And it got to the point where I really didn't know why I was spending time with her, because I wasn't really enjoying her company very much, which sounds odd, but I'm kind of one of those people, or I was at that time. So this is called Goodbye Girlfriend. Your friendship, like a rock under my toe, troublesome, yet familiar over time, kicked up and lodged decades ago along some crowded footpath. Often I thought to extract it from my shoe, but discouraged by the chore of unlacing, purging, retying, and time lost forever in that task. Enduring blister, callus, thickening against your unpleasantries, I weighed pros, cons. Scales accumulated a grain of sand each time to the negative balance. Mercifully, a tipping point. Routine irritation, grown boulder wide, halted my plodding. Your friendship dropped easily where it fell, rolled into the grass, far from the trail. Lightened by the load, my arches flexed, my soul's eager to feel higher ground. And the sticking point with that was she was mean and nasty to my husband. And that was the last straw.
Oh, wow.
Okay, what's backstory? We call that backstory. which
That's the backstory, yeah,
is-
right.
yeah,
right.
I'm not a big backstory guy, but
Yeah.
theatrically speaking, but what I wanted to say is how strong the ending of that was. Just I don't know how many lines I'd have to go back before I started to really feel it.
Mhm. Yeah.
But and not just strong, because we're talking poetry here.
Yeah.
The visuals that you were using to tell the story were like, oh, yes, yeah, okay, I got it,
Yeah.
got it,
Yeah.
got it. And I wouldn't mind hearing the end of the poem. I know I'm always doing that, but it's like I almost have to, because I don't want to walk away thinking I remember liking this. I would like to kind of remember what I liked. I mean, not that I'm gonna,
Okay.
not that I have a photographic memory or anything like that, although I will steal, but usually it's only a line or two and you might not even ever notice it.
Yeah. Well, I'll read the last 4 lines.
That would be
As
really nice.
yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Your friendship dropped easily where it fell,
There you go.
rolled into the grass, far from the trail. Lightened by the load, my arches flexed, my soul's, SOLES, of course, eager to feel higher ground.
That's a heck of an ending. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was a powerful beginning too, with the picture of the stone under your foot in your shoe.
Yeah.
What an irritant.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Well,
good poem.
Thank you.
And I don't remember having read it before, heard it before, but
Okay.
even if I had.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, Gary, I think
where
it's
do you
yours
say,
again,
where
right?
do you say a somber tone descended upon the group?
Oh, it's almost 3 o'clock, isn't it? Wow. Okay.
It is, and I think if I go to a 4th, I'll be the only one.
Oh, what a
Yeah,
shame.
I don't have a 4th, and I don't know what time. It's 2:54, so I don't know if you were just wanting to keep going until we ran out of poems, or
Well, I always like that idea, but
Sure.
it's if you guys want to, I will.
Yeah.
It's gonna be up to Raven to.
Okay. Well, go ahead. You can have one.
like I say, I don't. Yeah, you share one. I don't know that I have one, but
Okay, I got one that's kind of short. How about that?
okay.
I'm very fond of short poems. And I got this poem. I love the poem. And it's about my dog, but it is the longest poem that I've ever written, and it does seem to go on forever, And so I rarely read that one, but one of these days, if I'm in the mood, you'll have to hear about Brownie, my dog. This one is about, I used to hear this phrase a lot, but my wife had a friend. She was the business manager for a group of hematology oncologists, and in her position, she would have to interact or call other like entities, and she developed friendships with people who did the same kind of work that she was doing, and she loved this one gal, Southern gal, who would always use the phrase, "It don't differ me none," and that's where this comes from. Don't invite me to your looting parties. Don't even hint at who you think I should hate. I ain't listening, and I wouldn't care if I was. It don't differ me none whose side you're on, long as you hugged your kids today or helped your neighbor get her cat off the roof. If you got love in your heart that you share for free, you're what's right with the world, and you're all right with me.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good one.
good poem.
It always makes me happy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that puts me one up. Not that anybody's keeping score.
Well, that's all right if you've one-upped us.
Every time in my whole life I've tried to one up somebody, I've failed. This could be the first time that I've ever succeeded.
Well, I did find another poem, so.
Hey, I knew you would. I knew you would.
All right, Bobby, come through.
Okay, go for it.
I when I was in Cabo San Lucas several years ago, I took a bunch of pictures with me in different positions in front of a door. And so I took a picture of me sitting in front of this door that had a cross. It was a big wooden door and it had a cross on it. And I took a picture of me with my back up against the archway and my head down, sleeping, the hat down over my eyes. And so I wrote this poem for that graphic. This life is almost done. I've made it to the door. I guess I could stand up, but I'm tired and I'm sore. It used to be I'd sleep after dark until the dawn, but now I fall asleep whenever I sit down. Even so, if you had need, I'd be willing to do more, as long as you would hug me after I complete the chore. But one day, not too soon, that door will open wide. It will be my turn. I guarantee I will not miss a stride. Goodbye, old world, goodbye.
Sayonara.
One of the I don't know, hidden pleasures. I don't know. One of the things that I was not expecting was really I guess joy is a good enough word. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, you're reading your poem, and out of the corner of my eye, because you're center in the bottom, Dale is up left from me, from my left, and I'm on the right. I'm watching, well, you're reading and I'm watching Dale, and she is just tickled, she's just really enjoying your poem. And I said, this is the kind of thing that you don't expect, and it's like, it's really cool,
Yeah.
Well, poems should be shared,
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm quite sure that if I were clever enough, I could segue right into, writing's good for you, and we could probably be on our merry today.
Yeah, remember to keep writing, right?
Yeah,
that was keep writing. It's good for you.
For you, right? Yeah.
Well, between the three of us, we got it.
Yeah.
But I'm good. I'm happy. You know, I mean, I could also go on for days. Well, not days. I don't have that many poems, but it's a good
I
time.
just didn't want you to leave feeling good about one-upping us, so.
Okay, Robert. I got you. I got you. Yeah.
All right.
Well, anyway, it's been delightful, and I don't know if well, partly because we haven't seen Bobby for a long
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
But it did seem like a long time between us getting together, and
Well, it was a couple of meetings, so that's a month, you know.
Yeah, it was. It was the last two meetings I missed.
Mhm.
So the last one, I was sitting in the pain doctor's office, curled up on his table, so
Mhm.
going, help me, help me.
Mhm.
well, I think
that-
I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you have something more there?
no,
No, okay, because I'm feeling pretty good about things. You know, it's good to see
Yeah.
you. I enjoyed the heck out of your writing, as always. And I think one thing that happens for me, I'm speaking for myself, but it's I'm starting to see the depth in the stuff that you guys think about and you write, you know, more so than I did when we first started. I suppose it's like any relationship, but at the same time, it does seem important to me and makes me look forward even more to doing it again. And that's about as positive as I get. So
that's pretty positive.
That's pretty positive, yeah.
Thank you, Gary, for
Yeah.
getting me started in this. I had no clue that I would enjoy it as much as I am.
I think that's the key right there. You had no clue. I didn't. No, okay. All right. Stop. Just stop. Just stop. Well, I can't say that's not what I meant. I mean,
We understand, Gary. We
okay.
understand.
We do.
Yeah, understood. It really is. Anyway, should we all say it together?
Okay.
Okay, on three. 1, 2.
Keep
writing.
writing.
Ivy,
It's
It's
good
good
for
for
you.